Hello and welcome back to my video blog. So far we've talked about a number of things. We've talked about why online and hybrid learning is beneficial. We've talked about the tools that can be used to enhance meaningful 21st century learning. We have talked about systems of delivery, those learning management systems or LMSs. We've talked about the 10-point rubrics and ways to evaluate learning. And we've also addressed the challenges that may exist, which was the topic of my last blog. So now is the point where I'd actually like to offer some encouragement and some inspiration to educators who are ready to maybe give it a try and take that next step. And I really think the key is to foster digital wisdom, not only for students, but also for administrators and teachers as well. Obviously, because teachers are the ones who are going to be using it, and administrators should be the teacher support system. First, I think that we need to understand that in our online or in-class students may consist of digital natives or digital immigrants or both. Those are terms that Mark Prensky explores at length. And Prensky really says that our K through 12 students today are digital natives. In other words, they were born into a digital world and it is their first language. It's what they know. And then therefore, everyone else is a digital immigrant, myself included. We weren't born in the digital age. But we're learning about it and we're adapting to it, some faster than others. And it's really a foreign language for us. It's not our first language, whether we speak it fluently or not. And I think that's important to remember. So really, as we work towards creating this digital wisdom, some course or unit modifications may need to be made, such as including clear explanations of where to locate course materials, directions for navigating a course, help links, video and audio tutorials, examples of student work, and teacher availability for assistance. And a lot of those things are elements that I really did already address in a 10-point rubric and should be present already. But again, some additional modifications may need to be made if you do have digital immigrants who are present in your online or hybrid type course. I also believe that an online instructor needs to really instill the belief in all of his or her digital students, whether they be digital natives or digital immigrants, the need to continuously really experimenting and applying new knowledge and skills to alleviate any possible digital fears, because that certainly could be an issue with both natives and immigrants. This includes not only using technology, but also thinking in a 21st century way. So it's not a matter of just using the digital tools, it's a matter of actually thinking in a 21st century way. And that's something that we as teachers need to embrace as well. We can't expect that our students are going to think this way. We also need to be able to think this way as well to support their learning. In his article called Digital Natives, Digital Immigrants, Mark Prensky says, quote, "Future content is to a large extent, not surprisingly, digital and technological, but while it includes software, hardware, robotics, nanotechnology, genomics, etc., it also includes the ethics, politics, sociology, languages, and other things that go with them." So online course scaffolding, essential questions, and discussions should really encourage and challenge digital immigrants and natives to think in such a way to be able to collaborate with their peers, and particularly those who are in fact digital natives. In a second article, Prensky suggests that we facilitate digital wisdom by finding ways to create 21st century citizens who think more instead of just having teachers stick information in their heads. So really enabling teachers to create these 21st century citizens who are able to think for themselves rather than us just sort of crafting their thoughts for them. A teacher, whether it's in class or online, really needs to be able to create those challenge-based learning projects based on learning and authentic learning scenarios that really use meaningful technology to instill that type of digital wisdom that we're talking about. An online instructor really can mark the X on the map, and then students can decide how they're going to get there. And that's really important, that in an online situation or in class, that the teacher is really facilitating and isn't, leaving a bread trail of how students should get where they need to go. That they're just sort of telling students, this is where you want to get to. You figure out how to get there. You use your digital wisdom to solve problems and navigate your own course through a learning situation. And this really can be done through many collaborative tools like wikis, discussion boards, Google Hangouts, Google Docs, Skype, and that's just to name a few. And really by arming students, both, again, digital natives and digital immigrants, with such empowering tools and knowledge, really, and acting as a facilitator, not a lecturer, the students are really then driven to succeed through digital wisdom. Now, I really think it's also important to remember that our digital students, again, both native and immigrant, are humans, and so are we. And educators can offer things that our online or hybrid course cannot. And that involves empathy and passion, which again is another topic that is explored at length by Prensky and other scholars as well. Even in a digital environment, we need to remember that wisdom comes really from cultivating excitement in our students. And students need to feel and really witness our personal empathy, our personal passion as people, and as teachers and as role models, particularly about the topic that we are addressing in our unit or in our course. In my previous blogs, we've talked about ways to do this with social presence, meaningful discussions, sharing of stories and information. That sharing is really important. And also immediate and effective responses. So letting the students know that we are here, we are available. Making the students feel that they are available too, so that they can have that two-way kind of conversation with us. And all of this can really be done through courses in a successful learning management system that has been really evaluated and reflected upon. Author Amy Whiteside of the Sloan Consortium writes about the needs of empathy and passion in her publication, which is called Integrating the Social Presence Model to Maximize Blended and Online Learning Experiences. In a study of distance learning courses, instructors, quote, said they indicated that learning stems from relationships, and if students don't have a relationship with somebody or a connection to them, then students are not invested in each, and they do not have the incentive to interact. Okay, so they need to have those feelings of empathy and those feelings of passion from their teachers, again, from their role models, to really give them that connection, to give them that investment, to give them that incentive that they need to gain and learn and really have that deep understanding that we're hoping for. So just as we're more than a teacher in the classroom, we can be a therapist, we can be a counselor, we can be a role model, we can be a mentor, and all of those other things that we're expected to be as teachers, again, in the classroom, we need to be able to really do a lot of the same, if not all of the same things in a digital environment and show passion for it as well. So it really is a tall order to put on our plates. In her Edutopia blog, Anissa Ramirez uses a term called passion-based learning, which I think is very interesting. We have project-based learning, challenge-based learning, and now we're hearing the term passion-based learning. And she calls it an Education 3.0 tool and demonstrates really the thought through a well-thought-out diagram like this. Ramirez says that there are really two ways to develop passion in a student. One is to find out what each child is innately passionate about, and two, be an instructor that exudes passion for the topic and infect your students with that excitement. And we can do that. That's something that we can do. We can do that in an online environment. We can do that with 21st century learning, with meaningful learning, and with really these strong learning technologies that enhance and build and teach social presence, and all these types of tools that students need to be successful in our global society today. And we can do it. We can do it in a digital environment, and we can do it for students in a distance, blended, or hybrid learning format.